Hey guys, this teaching from home is a little interesting. I have a bit of an echo in my room, but this is Bella. Oh, she doesn't like to look at the camera. Bella. She'll probably be working with us every now and then because she kind of likes to be by my side. All right, so we're going to do 10-1 today. Her eyes look funny. All right, go Bella. We're going to do 10-1 today. I'm going to attempt anyway from doing it the same way I did yesterday. Feel free if you have any comments about it, if this is working for you or not, let me know. I can take the criticism. You might rather look at it a different way and maybe not have the notes in front of you like this. So I'm going to give it a go. 10.1, adding and subtracting polynomials. I feel like we've defined polynomial before, but maybe not. An expression in which the sum of terms of the form of, they have ax to the k, where k is a non-negative integer, is called a polynomial. So no negative exponents. Polynomials are usually written in standard form, which means that the terms are placed in descending order from largest degree to smallest degree. Just means from the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. Okay, so it's in standard form when the numbers for the exponents go biggest down to smallest. Sometimes, it's still a polynomial when they're not in order, but this is just called standard form. The degree of each term. Okay, so if you remember, a term is just each of the parts separated by an addition sign. In this case, subtracting, just because subtracting is the same as adding a negative. So this is one term, 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms. The degree of each separate term is the exponent of that variable. So the degree of that term is 3. The degree of this term is 2. The degree of this term, notice from your notes to mine, I added a red 1. If you just see a variable, the exponent is 1. That makes the degree also 1. Excuse me. If there's not a variable, it's still like x to the 0. Sorry, no corona here. Sorry. X to the 0 power is just the same as 1. The degree of the whole polynomial, so I highlighted this part, is the largest degree out of all of the terms that you're looking at. So for this polynomial, the degree of the polynomial is 3. Whenever the book talks about leading coefficient, it has to be in standard form. So the leading coefficient of this polynomial is the 2. If you can remember, coefficient's the number in front of the variable or being multiplied by the variable. So example 1, you can see that this is not in standard form. Directions don't say to put it in standard form. It just says to identify the coefficients. So coefficients, again, the numbers in front of the variables. So this doesn't have a letter on it, but it still could be like 4 times x to the 0. You don't really have to show that work. I'm just pointing out that that 4 is a coefficient. The number in front of this x, invisible, that would be a negative 1. And the number in front of the x to the 3 would be a 2. Okay. Also, if there are any missing, like x to the 2, I guess, in this problem, a coefficient would be 0. Let me write this out. If this is 2x to the 3rd, if I do it in standard form, I'll say plus 0x squared minus 1 to the x plus 4. I'll say times x to the 0. Maybe you can see it a little better there. Okay, I also feel like we've talked monomial, binomial, trinomial before. So monomial just has one term. Binomial has 2 separated by plus or minus. Again, subtractions, adding a negative. Trinomial, 3 terms. That's a lot of vocabulary. So is this. And I've already written this down. You can pause it and take a look at it. Pause it, write it down. There's also a really, really nice table on page 576 in your book. On your notes, I added classify by degree because you're asked to do that in your assignment or your recommended problems, I'll call it. So the degree, so just this column, the degree is, again, the highest exponent. So if this is just -5, and even if it's invisible, I can put x to the 0. So the degree is 0. A number without a variable is called a constant. It's not being added or subtracted to anything, so it's a monomial. There's only one term. 1/4 x. Highest exponent is 1, even though you can't see it. It's linear, and it's a monomial. Just keep going through it, I guess, kind of quickly. And you can email me, ask me any questions on Google Classroom, too. So highest exponent is 1, which makes it linear. Anything that has a highest exponent of 1 is linear. This is a binomial, however, because there are two terms separated with a plus sign. Highest exponent 2, that makes the degree, makes it quadratic. We've talked about quadratic relationships and how they have to have x squared. This is a binomial, two terms. Highest degree, 3. This is new. It's called cubic. You could try to graph it, put it in Desmos, put that in Desmos, see what that looks like, but it's called cubic. And because it has 3 terms, is a trinomial. If you look in your book, it actually has something that has an x to the 4th, and it's called quartic. There's another one, I don't know if it is in your book, but if it's x to the 5th, that's called quintic. If you think about prefixes, some of you kind of find that stuff fascinating, so I just shared it. Example 3, find the sum. This is literally just combining like terms. Vertical format, kind of like old school, right? When you were doing something like 32 plus 17 and you were supposed to add it vertically, adding it this way, right? Up and down. That's the same as what this problem is asking us to do. So I'm gonna, looks like my highest exponent is, so if I write -8x to the 3rd, I'm going to put these in order. Minus 9x squared plus x plus 2. That's me just rewriting this expression. I am going to add it to this. So nothing going under the -8x to the 3rd. I'll put this under its like term. It's a positive 8x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, that's that one. Now I'm going to add this, 4x squared minus 3x, putting it in order, minus 1. It said to find the sum. I am adding all of this in columns, going down. So 2 plus 4 is 6, minus 1 is a positive 5. X minus 2x's is a negative x. Minus 3x's all together would be a negative 4x. Negative 9 plus 8 is a negative 1. Plus 4 is 3x squared, positive 3x squared. And then you just bring down the negative 8x to the 3rd, because I guess really it would be like adding nothing to it or adding 0. And that would be my result. Okay, find the sum. Add them together. Horizontal format. It's sort of my favorite, probably yours too, since some of you don't like to show your work very much. Again, you're just combining like terms. So if you think about it as, all right, here's 6x squared, it's positive. I need to add it to another x squared. So all together, I'm going to get 7x squared. I don't know, maybe since you're doing it horizontally, if you were showing any work, you could say, you could use colors or something, right? You have a negative x and you're adding negative 2x. Just be careful, because that makes a negative 3x. I can see some of you just kind of going too quickly. And then last here, I'll do a triangle. You have a not pretty triangle, positive 3, and you are adding a negative 7. So that's going to be minus 4. If you don't love all the colors, it's 7x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay. Subtraction, you just have to be super careful. Okay, so example 4, this says vertical format, so I'm going to set it up and down again. This isn't the easiest with my iPad. I'll figure it out, okay? You can offer me up any suggestions. I can be a good learner. Okay, so I'm going to say 4x squared. Do you notice I have to subtract 3x? I don't have anything with a plain x in there, so I'm going to add plus 0x in the middle here, and then minus 1. So this right here is a placeholder. And I am subtracting negative 2x squared and a positive 3x. And I'm not subtracting anything here, so maybe just to have things lined up vertically, I would write it like that. So negative 1 minus 0 is going to stay negative 1. But if I have no 0x, no term that has an x to the 1, but I'm subtracting 3x. See how there's nothing over here, but I'm subtracting 3x? I am going to get a negative 3x if I take that away from 0. If I have positive 4x squared and I subtract a negative, that is adding. Again, this is not difficult, but be careful or you'll make those mistakes of like, you'll write 2x squared instead of 6x squared. So 6x squared. And there you go. That would be your result. Horizontal format. Yay. It's my favorite. Okay. So if I have, and I will just circle this, I'm using x squareds first, but I have a negative 8x squared. I am subtracting a negative 8x squared. Subtracting a negative, that's adding. If I have a negative 8 and I add 8, those are going to cancel each other out. You do not need to write 0x squared. It's just gone, 0. If I take my 12x, and I am subtracting a negative 3x. Okay, 12x, subtracting a negative is like adding. 12x is plus 3x is 15x. And if I have 6 minus 4, right, positive 6 minus positive 4, I should get 2. So plus 2, positive 2 plus 2. And that's your answer. And those are all your notes for 10-1. Enjoy.